Welcome! In this series of short videos, we will look at topics for the PowerBasic Windows compiler. Today we will look at the Windows clipboard. In order for us to explore the Windows clipboard and how PowerBasic can help you access it, I've created a simple PowerBasic Windows application. This has three controls on the dialog: a text box, which is set to allow multiple lines, and two buttons, one to copy data from the text box to the clipboard, and a second button to copy what's on the clipboard into the text box. At the moment, there are no events underneath each of these buttons. That's what we're going to do first. We'll see in the event handler, the callback function for the dialog, there are two events, one for each button, one for copying to the clipboard and one from copying from the clipboard. What we're going to do first is to get the text that's in the text box and capture it into a variable. So we'll need a variable in order to hold that. So we created two local variables at the top of our function, one for the text and one for the result of our copying to or from the clipboard. So in order to copy something from the text box, we first need to capture the data that's in the text box. And for that we will use a standard control get text command. This has two parameters, one being the dialog handle, the second being the handle of the text box, and we capture that to the variable we've just set up, strtext. In order to make life on the clipboard quite easy, the first thing we'll do is we'll use the clipboard reset command to empty out the clipboard. Next we will use the Clipboard Set Text command. We will give that two parameters, the first parameter being the variable containing the text we want to put onto the clipboard, and the second parameter is the result of the action. One result is either going to be true or false. True if we have successfully managed to copy data to the clipboard, or false if we have not. So we can then test the value of the wrong result and indicate to the user whether we've copied to the clipboard or not. So we're going to display a simple message box on screen to say we've either copied to the clipboard or we have been unable to copy to the clipboard. So let's run the application now. So if we put some text into the text box, and if we click the copy to clipboard button, it's now telling us it's copied to the clipboard. So how do we know it's actually done that? Well, we could try pasting it into another application, or we could use the Windows feature to see what's actually in the clipboard. If you hold down the Windows key and press the letter V. This feature of Windows 10 allows you to see what's been put into the clipboard. So it gives you a history of what has indeed been copied into the clipboard. So we can see our text in a text box has indeed gone onto the clipboard. But just to be sure, let's launch something like Notepad and paste it in. Right click, paste, and there is our text. So we've quite easily taken from on screen the data that's in a single text box and copying it to the clipboard. Now that's not that difficult to do because in the application itself we could have selected all the text by hand, right clicked, and copied it to the clipboard. But the copy to clipboard function will take anything that's in a variable and put it onto the clipboard. That variable could contain information from several text boxes, or additional information like dates and times. So the feature to put something into the clipboard could draw from information that's not even visible to the user on the screen. So how can we copy now from the clipboard back into the text box? So we'll go back to the event handler, the callback function, and in the case statement for the copy from the clipboard, we will put some code in. So we will use the clipboard get text function to capture the text that's in the clipboard and to put it into the strtext variable. And the success or failure of this operation can be determined by testing a long result. So if long result is true, we've effectively copied into that variable, and if it's false, we have not. So if it has copied in, we can use the Control Set Text command to populate our label with the contents of str text. So let's try that now. So if we put some text into Notepad, and we will do a standard copy, so this is now on the clipboard. So we go back into our demo and click the button to copy the clipboard into the text box. And there is our text. Again, well, you could do that quite easily by right-clicking on the text box and pasting. It also has the advantage that anything captured to the clipboard can be interrogated by your application and possibly copied into different text boxes on your screen. So you can see with these two quite straightforward commands, you can either pick text off the clipboard or put text on the clipboard. So what if you want to do something other than text? Say for example, an image. Can we copy an image from your application to the clipboard? So in order to do this, the first thing we want to do is to get an image onto our form. So we're going to add a graphic control to the form. So here is our graphic control. So we'll also add a button. So now we've added these two objects to our form, we will save that and go back to our code. So if we run the application now, we will see at the moment there's an invisible graphics control which we'll need to set up, and a button. So let's put the code in to set that one up. There is our Control Add Graphics command. And we're going to add a couple lines of code. First of all, to attach the graphic to our dialog with the redraw option, which means anything we draw to the graphic control will not be displayed until we issue the graphics redraw command. And we will clear the graphic control and make the background white. So if we run that now, we'll see that our graphics control is now visible on screen, although it doesn't currently contain anything. So let's get an image off our computer and save it onto that screen. So we're going to create a small function here whose job it will be to load an image off the hard disk of the computer called capture.bmp, and it's going to load that into our graphics control. So here is a function to perform that. It takes two parameters, the first being the location and the name of the file we wish to load, and the second the handle to the graphics control. Now we'll need some local variables to determine how big this graphic is, and we will want to test to make sure that the file we're attempting to load does actually exist before we go any further. So we can use the isFile function to determine whether the file is present or not. If the file is not present, then we'll exit from the function immediately. Then to determine how big our graphic actually is, we will open the file as a binary and read two pieces of information out of the file for the width and the height of the graphic. Then we will use the graphic bitmap load command. This takes a number of parameters, the name of the file, the width and the height, and it stores this in memory and gives us a handle. This handle can then be used with a graphics copy command to copy the area of memory into our graphics control. That's done by using the graphic copy command. And having performed the copy, we can then finish off by freeing up the space in memory that our bitmap took up. We can execute the graphic redraw command to ensure that the graphic is redisplayed on screen, and we can return true to say that this particular function has been successful. So let's try running that now. So we can see now that our graphic has indeed been displayed on the screen. So now that we've got this graphic on the screen, we want to copy it to the clipboard. But before we do that, just to prove that the graphic is indeed unique, we will actually write some text to this graphics control and we'll capture the whole part, the image and the text. So if we go back to where we called the loadGraphic function, if that returns true, we're going to write some information onto the graphic control. So we'll use the command to set the position of where we want to write the text. We will set our text colour to be black foreground and white background. We will print a piece of text on the screen just with the time on it, and we'll draw a box on the screen to finish up. And then we will redraw that to the graphics control. If we try running that now, we can see we've now changed the content of the graphic. As well as the image, it has a box on it and some text. So can we copy this graphic to the clipboard? Well, let's have a look at the event handler in our callback function. In this section here, we will put some code in so that when this button is clicked on, we will copy the information from the graphics control onto the clipboard, and we can then paste it anywhere else. So just in case there's anything else on the clipboard, we will clear out the clipboard first using the clipboard reset command. Next, we will use the control handle command to find out what the Windows handle of the graphics control is. So we give that two parameters, the handle of the form and the handle of the graphics control. This gives us a unique Windows handle we can use for the next command. And this next command is a single line using Clipboard Set Bitmap. This takes the handle we've just obtained and puts it onto the clipboard. And again, the result of this operation can be determined by testing long result. So if long result is true, we have successfully copied to the clipboard, and if long result is false, we have not. So let's try running that code. So if we click the button now, which should copy the graphic to the clipboard, it tells us it has successfully completed that operation. But how can we prove it's actually on the clipboard? Well, if we hold down the Windows key and the letter V, we can see on there the image we've actually copied to the clipboard. But as an even better test, let's actually try pasting it in to a Windows application. So here we are in OpenOffice. Now the information we put on the clipboard should indeed still be there. So we go to Paste Special, and there's our bitmap, and we'll hit OK. And there is our bitmap with the text and the box on the screen. So we have successfully copied our image from the graphics control into another Windows application. We can also try the same thing in Paint. Again, we have a blank canvas here. If we click the Paste button, we'll find that we can indeed paste this in. So you've now got an easy way of capturing information from a graphics control on your PowerBasic Windows application and copying it to the clipboard, from where it can be copied to any other Windows application that accepts this kind of bitmap. Hopefully you'll find this useful in your code. But that's it for today. Thank you for watching.